Terraria has 5. I kinda forgot about that. 4 combat classes. One of which is melee, a class that revolves around swords, flails, spears, boomerangs, and much more, including yo-yos? I guess this is melee? Whatever. If you load up a brand new save, melee is the first class you play with. And also the last. If you're willing to grind that much. All these weapons perform at their best at a closer range. Even though the Terrablade's projectile is great, you can still reach almost double the damage when you're up close. This encourages close quarters combat. With that being said, Relogic oh so generously gives the melee class some extra defense compared to the other classes, by quite a bit. As you can see from just comparing these side by side, melee really stands out, and there's not really much close to it besides the Vortex set, which is still only a fraction of its defense. This is why the average player prefers sticking to the good old melee class. I mean, who doesn't want to just run into a ton of enemies and destroy them without taking much damage? I mean, why would you want to be limited by your ammo supply? Or be limited by the amount of mana you have? And also, relying on a minion doesn't work 100% of the time. One may call it brain dead, one may call it too easy, one may call it casual, but in reality, it kinda is. So for this Monday, I wanted to add an item that granted a different perspective on the class and its capabilities. I always loved the idea of a glass cannon build, a character or unit with a strong offensive power but weak defensive capabilities. That's why I always favored menacing and lucky on my accessories, rather than warding. Having these damage buffs can make it possible to reach numbers like this. In the end, the faster you can kill things, the less time they have to kill you. And now, for the item of the week. The Glass Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is an accessory crafted from the mechanical glove and some glass, of course, at a hard mode anvil. At a first glance, the Gauntlet seems a bit overpowered, dealing 100% more damage, but this kinda falls off once you read the rest of the description. 40% reduced health, and on top of that, 40% decreased defense. To put that number into perspective, the endgame Summoner armor, Stardust armor, has only a disappointing 38 defense. So equipping this accessory would bring your defense all the way back down to 0. Oh, but it doesn't stop here. Guess what else gets reduced? Yep, that's right, your health. Bringing ours down from 500 all the way to 300. Ouch. But aside from this handicap, damage bonus is something you just can't pass up. I mean, the Knight's Edge is doing 84 damage. The Daybreak has a whopping 300 damage, and the Meowmere has 400. Take our trusty Dirt Rod. It deals around 1 million damage every swing, which might already seem like a ton, but when we equip the Glass Gauntlet, this number jumps to even more insane, 2 million damage a swing. Let's test it out. Now that we've seen its power, let's look at its weaknesses. I think it's safe to say that we're a bit vulnerable, and those enemies were only on normal mode. I couldn't even imagine what it'd be like on expert or master mode. Moving on, almost any melee weapon with a decent projectile will synergize well with this. Most notably, the vampire knives, the shadow flame knives, the scourge of the corruptor, and lastly, my personal favorite, the seedler. And now that I've talked about the function of the glass gauntlet, I'd like to take a look at the art of it. What I just showed you were the different layers of the gauntlet. Don't worry, the sprite is not that ugly. But put all together, it actually comes together into a nice blue tainted glass. When it's on the ground, you could still see the background. And even when you hold it with your cursor, you could still see things behind it. The shape itself is most identical to the fire gauntlet, another melee accessory. My goal was to kind of keep the whole gauntlet theme. Overall, I think this accessory would shift the playstyle of the melee class, thinking twice before diving into mayhem, playing at a safe distance. So yes, it pretty much transforms the melee class into the range class. So yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more modded content next week.